Hi, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. I watched the movie last night. I enjoyed it. I was very surprised by the ending. Um, so can you start by just talking about sort of what attracted you to the role, why you took it?
Um, well, yeah, I read the script 8 years ago, and then I liked it so much because of how bold it was that I came on board and I helped put the film together alongside Vincent
Oh,
Grishaw.
I,
That's why I'm an EP on the film, is I helped secure some of a lot of the financing for the film. And I was very adamant about, continuing forth in the journey. Obviously it's been 7 years, so we had a lot of different obstacles that we had to face in getting this movie made. But Vincent never gave up. I never gave up, and here we are 7 years later, and it's pretty cool.
other than the funding, what was the hardest thing bringing it to?
Without going into too many detail, we had an actor we were talking to for the role who passed away.
Oh,
For Robert's role. So we had to like kind of really recalibrate.
that makes sense. So you were not, but what did you do anything particularly to kind of prepare? I mean, this isn't exactly a role that you research, but or was there maybe anywhere other than the script you sort of drew your inspiration from? Because this is kind of a dark character. It's a hard one, I guess, to answer for that. But
Well,
what was your preparation like?
I think that a lot of what this film tackles is what mental health issues can look like if if they're not taken care of. I have a friend who I was friends with for many years, and he's having a lot of mental health issues right now. And it's really awful the way our system is set up and trying to help out people who are really struggling and they're in the grips of a psychotic break. So, I knew that there was a big responsibility to honoring what that looks like and doing it justice. So that was what my purpose and my passion was, is just to as respectfully approach the material as possible.
All right. How did you have a hard time sort of connecting to that though and getting into that sort of headspace?
It's interesting. I did a movie called Child of God, and a lot of people asked me the same question after that film. And for some reason, no, I was able to, couldn't, it wasn't something that I was, for me, that's in the lane of
Yeah.
it's in my wheelhouse, if you will.
Well, you're an actor, so that's gotta be your job. Well, let me ask you this then. Was there a part of you maybe that you sort of added to it, I guess? We don't really know a whole lot about his backstory, so that's hard to say, but maybe something even in your mind as you were doing it, maybe something we didn't see.
Yeah, the one thing I added to it is there's a lot of times when Thomas is he has a smile on his face and he's having fun, and I felt like I wanted to make sure that, because that's the way it would really be, is not everybody's there's mood swings for everybody for all phases
Mhm.
of what they're going through. And so that's what I brought to it. I brought a little bit of lightheartedness to certain moments. That's from
Right.
Scott.
It seems like at a certain point, maybe he had sort of gotten better. They make a point that he was married, he had a kid. It seems like at a certain point he was more adjusted, let's say. And
Yeah.
I was just wondering if in creating it, if there was sort of a discussion of, I mean, obviously we know what caused it, but at a certain point he was okay. So is there, I'm not asking it right. Was there something that sort of caused him to regress, I guess? Was there any discussion on that? It may not have been in the film. I just was kind of curious.
Yeah, I think the thing that really made him regress back into the situation is the relationship with his son. I think that I'm not sure if that is on screen or not in terms of if it comes through, but there's an element of being a father and then not being able to be a father, and what that looks like when it's in front of your face.
Mhm.
It makes you really go into a deeper spiral, if you will.
No, that makes sense. Did the three of you that played the siblings, sort of talk together at all about sort of that relationship beforehand?
Um, yeah, we all talked about the situation. I know I love Nick and Kelly so much that, you know, it was like it was really great to be with them. We all had a mutual friend named Brad Renfro because they did a movie called Bully, and I helped out Brad when he was going through a hard time. He passed away, and so it was really a special time of us coming back together. And we talk about the relation, the insidious trauma. Not necessarily. We talked in rehearsals, but some stuff we did not discuss between the siblings.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I just know sometimes, as actors talk about it together, and other times they're sort of, your thing is your thing. So I was just curious.
Yeah.
Can you talk about working with Robert Patrick?
I grew up watching Terminator 2 every weekend. I loved, and so it was very surreal at first to be with him playing my dad. I think like when I was a little kid, if you're like, hey, you're going to grow up one day to be an actor and that guy's going to play your father, I would say you're crazy. But I loved working with Robert. He will be a friend of mine for life. My best times on the film were the moments with him, just talking, because we couldn't make it. We just kept laughing around each other. He just instantly makes me laugh. And I think I do the same for him when we get in proximity to each other. So we just had a lot of fun.
That's surprising to hear you laughed a lot on this kind of thing. Do you have a particular, it doesn't even have to be with him, but do you have like a favorite scene off the top of your head? It doesn't spoil too much, obviously.
Yeah, I think my favorite scene is in the first chapter. And it might be when we're dancing to the music. That's my favorite scene. Yeah.
I know what I was going to say. You obviously connected okay to the role, but what did you find the most challenging overall from an acting perspective, not bringing the film together?
Yeah. So the one thing that I can't really talk about is the one thing that's the twist, and how that was the challenge, is figuring out how to navigate that. And so when you watch the film back, it all kind of tracks and keeps that story cohesive in terms of like without giving away the reveal, what the reveal is and how to make that executable in a second viewing. So you realize like, oh, how does, I think Jamie,
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's so hard to not spoil it, but yeah.
Yeah, I after the fact kind of realized there were some clues I thought after, like I was thinking things, but it didn't occur to me why, until after, I guess is the best way to say that.
Yeah.
So are you a fan of horror just in general?
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of horror fans as much as I am of horror, because I love the horror fans are so committed to the genre. They're so smart. They know the genre so well. I'm a big fan of well done horror. I'm not the best fan of horror that is not real, because I think it's very, you have to put a lot of care and consideration and appreciation for your fans and the audience experience of watching film. So yeah, I love horror. I think it's challenging in some very unique ways, and I love the horror fans.
All right. I don't know. I get scared at some things. This is like dark, moody. This is okay, but like, chop them up. That I'm not as big on. So, I know what I was gonna say. What did you, during this whole experience, is there something that you learned about yourself, either as an actor, as a person, just that kind of sticks out to you?
Every time I do a film, I learn more and more about how to navigate this life. We only get a limited amount of time here. So on that movie, it was just a matter of just like making sure that, I come from a place of gratitude anytime I'm working. And the more I can just be loving to people around me and keep that frequency, it seems to be a better work environment. And so I think we had a really good connection on this, and I felt a responsibility to do that as an executive producer on the project, as well as kind of set the tone of like a very communal, we care about each other's emotions and feelings, and we respect one another's process. And it was a good film to just really exercise and stretch those muscles.
Right. Do you have a particular either role or type of role or something that you would still really like to do? Like it could be a character or something even you make up, just sort of that dream.
Listen, I feel very fortunate. I got to be part of my favorite film franchise in Jurassic World. I've always wanted to, and I've been part of Marvel. I did Venom. So for me, I think that if I had to choose something, I would like to do a project that was either tied to either Star Wars or like I would like to do if there's a movie made on Kobe Bryant, I'd like to help make that happen because he was a big, inspiration for me my whole career. So yeah, maybe one of those two things.
Okay, cool. Is there somebody you'd really like to work with that you haven't?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to work with anybody, I'd want to work with Eminem.
All right. That's a surprising choice, but all right. I assume you mean in the acting, not in the singing, but
no, yeah, exactly. If he comes back, if you just, I'm just being honest. Like, I think it would be really special to be cool. Across from Eminem as an actor. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Do you have any other projects coming up that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more of me that's being released in the Jurassic World extended cut, which is coming out soon. That'll be fun to see the audience; those fans get to see more of what we intended the film to be. So that's coming out. I'm excited for that. And I've shot a couple of things that haven't really been announced yet. One is a horror, and it's really going to be powerful, and it hasn't even been announced yet, but I've already wrapped it and it's great. And I am super excited about that film. So there's another one in the pipeline that will be announced soon. Normally they get announced early, but this one we've already shot. And
yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask you just overall, because you're making me wonder, between either Jurassic franchise or Marvel or whatever, what's kind of your, I guess, best memory that's kind of like that you think of when you think of that? Because obviously those are big things.
My biggest, just two. The biggest one is the movie I directed called Mully, which is a documentary which is on Amazon Prime, and it's around it. That movie, we've raised $20 million for kids that really need help in Kenya. Like there's like so many orphans, and what he's doing in Kenya is remarkable, and the world can learn from him. And it was life-changing to be a part of a project that has that kind of tangible effects on the world, that matter. The other one would be Jurassic World or Child of God, but I'll go with Jurassic World because it was we were the only movie in the world being made. It was a very scary time. We were trapped in a bubble. We were the test case to see how we would move back into working during Corona. I was the first actor, I think, maybe in the world ever swabbed for COVID, because I was the first one to show up at Jurassic's quarantine camp. So it was just, that experience was just so unique and surreal because of the time we were living in and the scale of that film, and us all we could not leave this one quarters and outside of near Pinewood in London. That was very unique.
Yeah, it's definitely changed, I think, a lot of things.
Yeah.
The way you work and everything. All right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Like I said, I enjoyed the film. So thank you.
I love your background, by the way. It's amazing.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye. Or it's almost evening now. Evening. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jamie.
Bye.